Hi, this is Adam Cohen, otherwise known as AJC.
Hi, this is Dallas D. Francesco, otherwise known as Dally D.
And this week we round up with AJC and Dally D. Alright guys, today we're going to cover Machado, Harper, and how much attention you guys should pay to spring training. So, first let's talk about Machado. And a little background about Machado. He's been one of the best third basemen in recent years. He is a two-time Gold Glover, one-time Platinum Glove winner. Platinum Glove is when you're the best in your position in the entire league. He's a four-time All-Star. He's also has 33.8 WAR, and WAR is kind of like this overwhelming stat showing your value as a player, how much better you are than a regular average player. His military draft is a shortstop and has spent most of his career as a third baseman. He tried going back to shortstop last year, didn't work too well, and now he's going to be a third baseman for the Padres. And recently, he got a 10-year, $300 million contract with an opt-out in 2023, 5 years into his contract. Last year, he batted .297 with 37 homers, 905 OPS, which is your on-base steals and how powerful of a slugger you are, and a 5.7 WAR. So he's a pretty solid player, top 10 already in baseball. And yeah, so first question is, are you surprised that he signed with the Padres, Dallas?
Oh, man, am I surprised? Yeah. I mean, I thought he was going to go to a bigger market team. It makes sense, though. I guess with the talent that they've been saying San Diego has, they are the number one farm system, I believe, right?
Yes.
It makes sense. Like Scott Boras said, it's a volcano of talent. It's going to erupt at some point. So it makes sense why he wants to go there. You know, we were talking the other day. They have Myers, they have Machado, and they have Hosmer. I think Hosmer is overrated. Machado is obviously one of the best that in our time right now, at least for our generation. Yeah. So I have one thing to say to Machado, and it's Mazel Tov. Because you cashed out, boy. You're taking it home. You got the bag. You secured it. I am surprised that he went to the Padres, but it's not the most shocking thing in the world. He's gone. We're never going to hear about him. You know, at least for us East Coast guys, Machado's he's irrelevant for us now. Yeah, that's probably it.
Yeah, it was a little surprising for me. I mean, it makes sense because of the Padres' recent trend. Although they've been the seller the past couple years, they signed big contracts to Myers and Hosmer, like you said. They have a very talented farm system. So in a couple years, they could be contenders. But we may not hear about him for a couple years just because
he's out in fucking bumfuck.
He's out in bumfuck San Diego.
Well, I mean, he's going to be living it up. He's going to be chilling. He's going to be crushing it. He's going to be living a real good life. But for us fans, I mean, even when he was on the Orioles, we got to see him a little bit. I mean, as a Met fan, I didn't get to see him all the time, but as a Yankee fan, you got to see him a bunch.
Definitely.
And then he went to the Dodgers, and then I got to see him a lot because the Mets and Dodgers play, 8, 9, 10 times, 12 times a year, whatever they play. And I was peeping him, and obviously, it's like when you get to watch this guy over and over again through a 3-game series, you get to really see what a difference maker he really is. So the Padres are definitely going to come out of this a better team. But I think you need some pitching, right?
Yeah, that's the only surprise.
You can't win without pitching. It's 100%. You can't win without pitching. You can hit as much as you want, but if your pitching sucks, you're going to suck.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't seem like Machado was trying to go for the big bucks as teams like the White Sox and Yankees didn't even really give him an offer. They actually went this other route where they got LeMahieu, who's more of like they're trying to make him into a super utility man across the infield and give extensions to your young core like Luis Severino, who's was a top 3 in Cy Young a couple years back, and Aaron Hicks, who's a top 5 center fielder in our game. Not a bad move, but they definitely missed out on a franchise player. And also, the White Sox also have a developing young core, developing young prospects, and they only offered him $175 to $200 million. Padres, though, they offered him the most, and they might not be the most ready team like the Yankees. White Sox, also Phillies were in contention for him. So
yeah, Phillies are all set.
Yeah, we'll get to Harper later.
Phillies all set right now.
We covered this a little bit, but do you think the contract was smart on the Padres' part. How about Machado? Was it smart on his part, both sides?
Yeah, why not? For Machado, obviously, why not? $300 million? Smell ya. Why not take that money and run? It's a profession. They have to make money. That's why they're doing it. That's why we wanted to be big leaguers when we were younger. Because we wanted to make the money, right?
Yeah.
We want to do something we love and get paid to do it. You know. So I understand. Padres, you're in deep. You know, you better start winning now and the year after that, or it's not going to really. I don't see it being, good for them.
Yeah.
Like I said, they have no pitching. So unless you can pull 3 quality starters out of your ass, then they're going to be in contention, of course, because you have the great offense and you have the dynamic. But you have no fucking pitching.
Yeah, this is why I was a little surprised when they actually did get a Machado and the reports were starting to come out. It's because if they were so focused on making their team better, I feel like they should have started with pitchers first. Obviously Machado's, either him or Harper are the best players of this free agent class. But someone like Patrick Corbin, who had an ace-like year last year and is an up-and-coming starter, so it's surprising to me how they didn't try to go for him and just try to help their pitching right away.
They should sign Keuchel right now.
Exactly. Yeah.
Why wouldn't they?
Yeah, they have enough money.
They're fucking being stupid without doing it right now because if you put him. Now you're looking at the team and you go, all right, that's 5 extra wins. Maybe our projection now with Machado's, 80 to 82 wins. Now with Keuchel, you could at least say, I feel secure saying 85 wins, 86 wins, right? 86 wins, you're in contention, right?
Yeah.
A
little bit of history on Dallas Keuchel, if you guys don't know. He's a former Cy Young Award winner in 2015. He's one of the few pitchers in the last couple of years to eclipse 200 innings, only something about 15 pitchers have done. And it's a hallmark for showing how durable you are. And even though he had about a 3.75 ERA last year, which is how many runs you give up about a game, which is about, slightly above average, he's still a workhorse starter, would make any team, especially the Padres who have no pitching, a lot better. So,
yeah, I think he would be a great addition, real quick.
Yeah. So Machado's a good start, but they should definitely add some pitching too. I think that's the next step. But, if you can get Machado, why not? And they have the payroll to do it.
Bye-bye, Machado.
Exactly. How do you think Machado will do this year? Give me some projected stats.
Projected stats for Machado?
Yeah.
San Diego, he's not going to have not a lot of eyes are going to be on him like they were at LA.
He does well for small market teams. I mean, he had a better half of the Orioles than the Dodgers. So that might pay.
He'll probably put up 37, 38 home runs with 110 RBIs. Just another solid year.
Really?
I don't see anything crazy. I don't see him putting up 50.
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah.
I don't see him putting up 50. But I don't know. I'm not really good at projection with the stats. I don't look into the stats enough. I think he's just a beast mode guy, And I think the Yankees kind of got cut in the ass there when Arenado signed the extension.
Yeah.
I think Yankees had some plans for Arenado next year, and I think that's why they didn't move on Machado. And with Arenado securing that extension, I think the Yankees are kind of like, a little bit, not a lot,
yeah.
But I think they're still kind of, there's like, ooh.
It was a very, very solid plan B. If Andujar didn't improve his defense this year and Didi didn't return back to form, Machado was definitely someone they could have signed. But I'm a little bit more conservative, at least on the homers for Machado in Petco Park. I mean, you look at power-ish hitters like Will Myers and Eric Hosmer, their power's number dipped a bit. I would say he gets at most 32, maybe still pretty close to what you said, but I would say it's more in 25, 30 range or so. But
yeah, I mean Petco's pretty big too, right?
Yeah. Well, Camden Yards is a hitter-friendly ballpark, and so is Dodger Stadium. That's why I think his homer numbers went down a bit.
We'll see. I think that's a good idea. That's a good idea. See, I'm not good with the projection with all that stuff. That's a good idea. I agree with that. That sounds good.
Yeah.
I'm switching my answer to 32.
Do you think...
You heard it here first. On AJC and Dally D.
Yeah. Do you think the switch back to third base will help? Seeing that when he went to...
that'll be good, because his arm's ridiculous, and then he doesn't have to move as much, which will make him stay healthier, because he won't have to, pivot and get himself involved with, double plays, because people are going to want to take him out, because he is a sleazy player. Playing shortstop, someone's going to fucking take him out. You know, some big boy's going to say, fuck this dude, and just go right into
Chase Utley, right?
Yeah, Utley, fuck, man.
Yeah, this guy's a Mets fan. He hates Utley for life.
Utley was a Met killer with the Phillies and with the Dodgers. Ugh.
Yeah, he took out Mets player Ruben Tejada in the National League Championship Series and
broke his leg.
Yeah, never played again.
Never played again either. Yeah, it was tough for him.
All right, so let's talk about Bryce Harper now. Now, Bryce Harper, 16 years old, was claimed by Sports Illustrated as the golden child. He was going to be the next great baseball player. The catcher turned outfielder, hit 500 bombs as a high schooler, and has lived of nothing short to expectations, even greater than. He was a Rookie of the Year, 2012. Had one of the best MVP seasons of all time in 2015. He's a 6-time All-Star. He had a 27.4 Baseball Reference WAR, and as we mentioned earlier, WAR's like this overwhelming stat saying that he's like 27 games better than the average player. So over the course of his career, giving his team 27 extra wins. So he's amazing. And last year he did take a bit of a dip. His average went down a little bit, batted .249. Power's still there with 34 homers, 889 OPS, still pretty solid. He only had a 1.3 WAR though, but I think it's off. They said that because his defense wasn't that good, but he's been a consistently good defensive player, so let's take that with a grain of salt. Although Harper can be arguably overrated, he's still a generational talent. And yeah, so let's start with the first question about Harper. Are you surprised he signed with the Phillies?
No. I was hearing about that for a while, that Philly was going to go after him. I was hoping he was going to go to the Dodgers. I was hoping he was going to go to the Yankees because I don't want him in division in the NL East. Having him in the NL East now just locks it up. In my opinion, it's the toughest division in baseball.
Definitely.
And it will be with the best competition.
Besides the Marlins.
Yeah, but 4 out of 5 teams.
Yeah, definitely.
That's pretty damn good. And Marlins aren't terrible. I don't think they're going to finish in last. I think they're better than the Orioles, and
yeah,
they're going to be better than some other teams as well. It sucks. No, I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised about the amount. I thought he should have gotten more, to be honest. I think he's one of the best that we'll ever watch. It's just, my excitement is like, I wish I could talk about him, but when he's like gonna be, he went from the Nationals to the Phillies. Like, fuck, he's still in division. We still got to pitch to him. Fuck.
Yeah, last year was a down year, so he's gonna come back too. That's
yeah. I think he's gonna hit his home runs at home. He's gonna put up big numbers next year or this year. Big numbers, huge numbers. I think. Citizens Bank Park is small, and he's gonna put some numbers up. That right field porch is like, I don't know what it is down the line, but people mash out there. People mash. Yeah, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised either. But it was pretty funny when you mentioned comments how you're not too excited to talk about this. You know, when I talked to Dallas the first time about Harper signing with the Phillies, he said, Adam, 2 words, fuck Harper. And that's what he said to me. And, as a Mets fan and already being in a tough division that's tough. But
I like him as a person. Like, I like the...
He's an animal.
He's an animal. He's a stud. He brings a real cool vibe to baseball again, and I'm all for that, making baseball fun again. As you know, as a Mets fan, as a diehard Met fan,
yeah, it's tough.
I can't like him. Come on, I can't.
It's like me liking Mookie Betts, who won the MVP last year. You respect the guy. You can't like him playing against you. But as I was mentioning a little bit earlier, I wasn't very surprised that he signed with the Phillies, and that's because later in the reports just about he was going to sign, there was a bidding war for him between the Dodgers, the Giants, and the Phillies. The Dodgers said, "Know what? We're going to make you the highest annual average per year salary ever," and they offered him 4 years, $180 million, highest average AAV, average annual values, to Zach Greinke, who's a pitcher for the Diamondbacks, very good pitcher, former Cy Young Award winner, 34.4, so that would just blow it out of the books. They were trying to give him a short-term deal. The San Francisco Giants also offered him a long-term deal with 12 years, $310 million, but Harper wanted to stay with one team. He wanted to get the most money, and he's got signed a 13-year, $330 million contract with the Phillies. So he took lower AAV, but he got a longer contract and more money. So at the end of the day, he got paid, and I would say Phillies are a better choice than at least the Giants in that perspective, because if you want a long-term contract, because the Giants are a bit of a mess right now, kind of still in that 3 World Series mode of 2010, 2012, 2014, and having an old core. So I think Phillies, definitely with Harper now, a win-now team, they already are trying to build off next year.
Oh, yeah, they're going to be tough.
Yeah.
That lineup is going to be tough.
With that said, do you think this is a good contract for Harper? Do you, personally,
No,
really?
I think it got cheaped out.
Really?
Yeah, the guy's going to be the best baseball player around for the next 10 years. Why don't you give him like $400 million and just make something real crazy?
Mm-hmm.
And then you get, I know it's like you got to make it justified and all that, and I bet it is probably a really good deal for him. I just think, when you're the best, I guess he did it. He got the highest contract ever, right?
Yeah.
So he did do it. Makes sense. I wouldn't have been surprised for like 350, 360.
Exactly, yeah.
That wouldn't have been surprising to me. 330, I was like, oh, okay. Because
Yeah.
Machado got 300 for 10 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
10 years, 300?
Yeah.
And then he just took an extra $30 million, right?
Yeah.
So you're telling me Harper and Machado are at the same playing level?
I would say Machado's more consistent than Harper. Harper's had bigger seasons than Machado, but Machado's usually like 5 WAR, 6 WAR range.
Has Machado have an MVP?
No, but he's
Harper?
Yeah. It's true, yeah. I mean, like, if you look, Harper's...
I was just thinking, yeah.
Yeah. Like, career war-wise, Machado's higher than Harper, and I would say Machado's a better defender at a tougher position. So Harper's usually a right fielder, and...
Whoa. Brain blast. Just thought of something. With the signing of Harper now, does that take out Trout going to Philly in the future? Probably, right?
No.
No?
They were gearing up for him. Harper was recruiting him yesterday. Mike Trout's the best player in baseball.
Ever.
Yeah, he could be. Very well could be. Has the highest WAR for his first 7 full seasons of, 62. Already higher than, about a third of the Hall of Famers, at least, right now. And he's going to, right now, he's finishing up a 6-year, $144.5 million extension, which he signed at the age of 22. So, in 2 years, he's going to be a free agent. And Harper, at his conference today, said, in 2 years, this big-name player's coming off the books. And that could be the reason why Philly said, we're going to spend stupid money, but we're not going to go for Harper and Machado. So they could be gearing it for Trout, and Trout's an Eagles fan too.
I know he's home. He's from Jersey. But...
It'd be tough to imagine.
Trout's going to get more money than Harper.
Yeah, I think Trout will break the $400 million barrier easily.
Oh my God, he's going to make so much money.
Yeah.
He's going to make so much money. Wow, he's going to make so much money.
That's soon. No, that's going to be the fun free agent class.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
Is this a good contract for the Phillies? People said, I've heard so many reports saying that, whoa, it's too long, or you give them too much money. They fell right into the Scott Boras's Harper's agent hands by, escalating the bidding war between the Giants and the Dodgers.
We'll see. I have no idea. I'm not really into the contracts. Like I said, there's some things I'm good at. $25 million a year, right?
Yeah, $25 million. Yeah, it's still pretty solid.
Yeah, I mean, what are the Mets paying? Who's the guy with this son? Cespedes.
$22 million a year.
Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah, something like that.
We signed him for fucking $180 million, and he hasn't done fucking shit.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy if he comes back. If he comes back, they could have a good team if he comes back out of nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be the X factor for the Mets. Yeah. I mean, Harper's contract AAV wise may not be that great, and some people are like, all right, how is Harper going to do well at 36 to 39? But they're not cashing in those years. They're cashing the years from 26 to 34, which is really good years. And also, Phillies needed to do something. They said they put themselves in a position where we're going to spend stupid money this offseason. This contract, it could have been a lot higher. It could have been a lot higher, and it could have been a bit harder on the Phillies. But, they got him. They got the franchise player now, and they are... I mean, according to Vegas projections, the Phillies are the team to beat in the East. Now, maybe Mr. Met fan right here disagrees with it.
They are the team to beat. They are the team to beat for sure. I'm not going to be looking forward to watching the Phillies. I'm not going to be looking forward to watch. It used to be playing the Nationals. It's fuck the Nationals. Ugh, this is going to be tough. I think the Nationals are going to be okay now with the Mets, and I think the Braves are going to give the Mets some. I think that we'll go back and forth. Phillies, I'm not looking forward to playing the Phillies. I'm not looking forward to it. So, we'll find out.
Yeah. So, what's your? Do you think Phillies will win the East this year? Do you think Harper's gonna have a career year? How do you think they're gonna pair this year?
I have no idea. We'll find out real soon.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Harper adjusts to his new ballpark. Citizens Bank Park, the Phillies' home ballpark, is not bad for hitters. It's about middle of the pack. I think National Park was around the same, and I'm sure he'll put up very good numbers. And I think the Phillies will definitely get better. It'll be interesting to see if they actually win the East this year. A lot of good competition between the Braves, Nationals, and the Mets. So, it's really hard to tell where they'll finish. But I don't think they'll win the division, per se. I just got a gut feeling they won't. Like, somehow they won't. But I feel like they'll come in second. I think they can have a wild card spot.
They can make some noise in the wild card if they get Nola pitching good.
Yeah, Nola pitching good and Arrieta. They have some solid pitching there. And now they have some really good hitting and some other good moves in the offseason. They're looking good for 2019.
Fuck, yeah, they are.
Yeah. All right, let's move to something that doesn't stress Dallas out,
like
Harper and the Phillies. So
I'm not over it yet.
Yeah, it's a little bit tough.
Yeah,
happened this week.
Mm.
All right, so this is a little bit different than the last two big market players. We're going to talk about some spring training. So we actually started having this conversation on a bus ride for one of our program trips, but we liked it so much, so we wanted to talk about it for you guys. So should we look at all spring training players equally?
No. I think it depends on the spring training player, and so for me, spring training is like you get to see these guys just like going through the motions in a way. They're getting back into motion, and you get to watch them go from day 1 to day 30 to opening day. I think it's important if you're a fan and you want to watch it, or if you just want to keep track, seeing how the guys that are going to be in the opening day roster are doing.
Mm-hmm.
I think, of course, there's a little bit of a light switch they can turn on because they are professional. Mm. But if you see a guy struggling from day 1 all the way through spring training and he just looks like absolute shit, then I don't think he's just gonna put it on for opening day. Mm-hmm. I think seeing your players progress through the month of spring training and seeing how they by the last week they're playing 7-8 innings, they're looking pretty good, they're making decent plays, you're watching the highlights, okay, you're getting the feel, they're ready to rock. I think spring training is more important for pitchers because pitching is something that you can't do it every day. You can hit every day, but you can't pitch every day. It's just impossible. Your arm will fall off. Mm-hmm. It's important for pitchers to get that feel of getting themselves back in the groove for pitching. And I know it's the same thing for hitting, but I think pitching has a little bit more of a value. Spring training has more value for pitching than it does for hitting. And I think that's where you want to watch it, seeing how your pitchers are doing, especially the back end ones. The ones that might be fighting for a roster spot, might be fighting for some bullpen appearances, because those are the guys. For instance, I was watching the Mets, and there's this guy Kyle Dowdy. He was a Rule 5 draft pick. Some high expectations for him.
Can you explain what a Rule 5 draft pick is?
I don't even know what a Rule 5 draft pick is, specifically. I know what it is, but I don't know termly rules. Do you know?
A little bit. So it's like when a team takes off, they have a 40-man roster, and when you say, hey, I don't want this guy in the roster anymore, and another team claims him, it's like a Rule 5 draft pick. You have a marking every year, it's who you want to get rid off the roster. They'll keep some players off, team claims him, it's Rule 5 draft pick. Yeah, keep going.
So anyway, see, high expectations, and I've been following him because I liked what his attributes were and his measurables, and I was like, all right, well, let's see what this guy got. And he's been getting rocked. He's been getting the shit kicked out of him, and I've seen three appearances. He's almost given up 6 runs, flat 5 earned. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's bad, for me, that's why I follow spring training, is because, I like that stuff. That's what I'm into, but not everybody's into that. So I understand why some people are like, spring training is just, it doesn't matter. Yeah, It doesn't matter. But it could matter, depending how you take it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I don't
look at he doesn't care.
No, I care, but I won't watch Yankees spring training games. I don't know, I'm very particular. I like watching the real deal, and it could be the real deal. You get to see the prospects in action. I see the appeal for it, but I think for the most part, if you're not fighting for a roster spot, you have a guaranteed place on the team. I think it's going through emotions. I mean, if you look at like a year or two ago, Greg Bird was the name at spring training. He was arguably the MVP, and then he was shit the entire year. So, I think there's players like that. There's players like Tanaka who always has a good spring and then gets rocked during the season. I think it's like you take it with a grain of salt. I think the hitters are just trying to get to the motion. I think there's too many factors. So, maybe the first part of spring training you play 4 inning games, and you don't play every day, and towards the end you do, and you're starting to get back into the motions of things. And you said that it's you look at the pitchers the most, but I disagree a little bit like that because pitchers are not even on the 5-day rotation how they do that. Usually on a major league staff they have 5-man rotations. They have go through 5 guys in order until you reset. And they don't even do that. They have like 9, 10-day rotations.
Because they're throwing simulated games on the side every 5th day, getting themselves back into groove.
Yeah, I mean, it still matters. I think it's still important, but I think it doesn't matter until they flip the switch on until the season.
Hitting is bullshit in Florida, anyways. The wind's taking everything out. Some of these balls are just you can tell when that ball's up there, ew, and it's gonna get out. Some of the wind is blowing crazy. I mean, of course, you can tell when the ball's hit good and when the ball is hit bad.
Yeah.
I think pitching is the most important in spring training. I just know from my preseason experience, never in the MLB or anything like that, just for college, is preseason when we were throwing live, it was like, all right, where this feels good. This feels good. You're growing confidence back on that mound, and I guess it's the same thing for a hitter, but with the technology with hitting, you got the hit tracks, and then you can do live BP, and you can get reps. 200, 300 reps a day, you can get that confidence back in a way where pitching, you go out there and you throw, 40 pitches live and you give up, 4 dingers. You're like, fuck, okay. And then you go to work, you keep going. Then the next time you go out there and you throw 40 more pitches and you give up only 2 dingers. You're like, all right, that still sucks, but it's better. And then you keep working. And then, 30 days later, that last appearance, you go out there and you shove, and you're like, word, I made the adjustments, and that's, as a pitcher and feeling confidence, that's what you need. You want to see progression, I always at least think about leaving off on the positive note,
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's arguably, it's definitely the preferred option. I'd rather see any player, especially pitchers, and you're right, I think it's tougher for them to get into a groove in spring training. It's I think they should be looked at a bit more carefully, but I don't think spring training necessarily needs to be linear because, you can first outing you have 2 innings and you do fine, but then in your first 5-inning outing you get shelled by some AA, AAA teams. And it's like, all right, this is my first time throwing 5 quality innings or 5 big league innings or relatively big league innings in a while. So, I don't know. I don't think it has to be that linear. I think it's important. I think I love looking at the stats every day of all the players, and especially all the projectables and the guys who could make the roster and how the prospects are doing. I think that's really cool. But, I think once the season comes on, it's like, all right, game on. And I know it's hard because, as any ball player, you want to flip the switch no matter what competition you play. So I understand that approach too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can agree to disagree on it.
Yeah, we'll agree to disagree. It's all good.
Yeah. Do you think standings matter in spring training? The players...
Standings?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely not.
Standings. Okay, so glad we can agree there.
Absolutely not. Standings, there's B squad, A squad. Teams are all mixed match. Pitching is all mixed match. Absolutely not. It's usually the teams that are really good, that have the best standings, are the teams that have the better farm systems because they're playing, they have more depth. And the teams that are supposed to be, pretty good or middle of the pack lower. It's weird how it works. Every time... I remember watching when I was younger. Mets are number 1 in spring training. Let's go, and they would just be number 5 in that whole East. Yeah, absolutely not. They have no meaning. It's just you just want to see quality ball. If they lose a game, that's fine. You look at it and you go, where they lose it, who was pitching. Oh, that guy played only single A last year. I'm not worrying about him.
Yeah.
Who got the at bats? Oh, Wilson Ramos had 3 at bats, hit 2 hits. 1 was a grand slam. 4 RBIs. All right, word. That's a good day. That's a good day. I like that. And you look at that stuff more important. I think statistics is a little more important than standings, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, how the players do is definitely it has some relevance. Definitely, we can agree on that, even though we disagree on the magnitude of how much it does. But with standings, It really doesn't mean anything. I mean, look at the Orioles. They were 2-0 to start the season. That's the only time they're going to be in first place probably the entire year.
Probably.
But they have a decent farm system, or up-and-coming farm system. So, it's...
I got draft picks. They suck.
Yeah.
Sorry, Justin.
Justin's our boss, and he's a Orioles fan. So.
Hopefully he watches this and he'll see that.
Definitely. All right, well, that was last question for today. Thank you for joining us.
Dally D.
It's AJC.
And we outie.
We outie.